powering through the Iliad by Homer for the first time, an English translation. And so I came across a number more heart references, and so I was like, you know, I'm going to do one at the conclusion. I read 10 pages before I filmed this same day, and then all of these pages that I'm going to cover here, pages 131 through 190, I read today, Thursday, 7 May 2026 AD. I am Tanis, she, her, hers of Seattle, and inspired by my cardiology self-experimentation, here I talk through a few heart references in the Iliad by Homer, pages 131 through 139, initial text by Homer, approximately 8th century BC. This specific book/edition, the Iliad by Homer, translated by W.H.D. Rouse, 2007, Signet Classics edition, paperback, ISBN in the video description. These are part of my notes from reading the Iliad by Homer for the first time. And let's see, I am filming this Thursday, 7 May 2026 AD. There's a lot, so I typed them up, and so here we go. I watched out for heart stuffs invoking art of war style / approach. Page 131, anger swells in the hearts of many men, end quote. Heart emotion of anger in many goes to one man, many an individual, others. Page 132, quote, his heart was torn to hear all these miseries, end quote. In modern terms, this might be called heartbreak. Does a tear count as break? Page 133, savage temper and heart that is hard gets paired together twice in one paragraph. Page 133, now the heart swelling with anger, the speaker applies to himself. So previously it was kind of heart swelling with anger applied to others, individual, and many, and then this time it was the speaker applying it to himself. So there's like a little bit of a progression in terms of like how it gets applied. On page 135, the right sleep, wine, and food help with heart and muscles health. It is very consistent with what I've found with my cardiology self-experimentation. At page 135, it implies, question mark, a lack of sleep with groaning. It can be felt deep in the heart. On page 137, a heart, quote, a heart will not, quote, no, a, quote, heart will not keep still, end quote, is tied with active impulse, get up and move type response of physiology, or physiological response. Page 140, quote, a man after my own heart, end quote. The heart is characterized as being able to be appealed to by a person other than the one it is in. Page 140, quote, ready heart and high temper, end quote. So heart and temper specific pairing. On page 149, an intentional vocalization described as loud and dreadful transforms, quote, as, quote, loud and dreadful, end quote, transforms to the medium of the heart, from air to physical matter / liquid / solid, in a process imparting strength to the heart organ on an individual level, even with the vocalization heard by the many. So acoustic energy does propagate differently in different mediums / physical forms and chemical elements. Physiology meets physics / chemistry. Page 151, used a spear to strike a person on the breast, top of page, targeting the heart in battle. So people targeted the heart in battle. That's a pretty big thing, right? They knew it could possibly end a person's life if they hit the heart. Right? And anatomy, you know, almost 3,000 years ago, in a book form, or not book, text form, perhaps is a better word. Okay. Pages 151 and 152, it used a spear to strike a person on the chest, bottom to top of pages, targeting the heart in battle. Page 169, quote, stout heart, end quote, a heart characterized with an unshakable quality, it is so well founded / stabilized that its own death is its fuel. Sounds like me sometimes. Page 176, methinks they knew what vulnerable heartbeat was, and they referred to it as instant death when the heart was hit correctly. Quote, Tecros hit the shield sling which ran over his breast, but Zeus saved his son from instant death in that place. End quote. Page 179, the quality / strength of a heart can be added to. Quote, may God put it in your heart to stand firm and encourage the others to hold out. End quote. Page 179 to 180, pages 179 to 180. A heart can compel a person / make a person want to fight. High heart rate may correlate with excitement. And then another soldier kind of adds this, page 180, being compelled / wanting to fight, shared with the person's own heart, echoed by another soldier, including, my hands are, quote, my hands are gripping the spear, my heart is beating high, my feet are dancing along, 1 2 1 2, end quote. Also, the heart has its own heartbeat. They were anatomically, physiologically advanced. Right? It was initially published or crafted / published approximately 3,000 years ago. Okay, it's 2026 AD. Page 181, quote, bottom of my heart, end quote. The human heart is more than one-dimensional. It has depth. For people who focus on the brain these days, this take is still revolutionary almost 3,000 years later. Page 181, the heart may have more than one component. Storage requires space, meaning perhaps not a tiny organ. Quote, find a place in your hearts for shame and regret. End quote. Page 182, an individual hit in the chest with a spear fell down. Page 183, death may be accompanied by physical occurrences such as a certain heartbeat and teeth motion. Quote, his heart goes pit-a-pat and his teeth go chitter-chatter as he thinks of death. End quote. Page 185, an example is provided of what might indicate a hard heart. One who could see killing type, quote, conflict without pity, end quote. So essentially they see a conflict and they have no pity. So it sounds like me and my god Hades. Earlier in the book they said Hades was pitiless, so it's consistent with its own text. Page 188, a graphic example of a heart continuing to beat after pierced with a spear, so the spear moves. So, whoa, that's, yeah, strong heart. Okay, page 189. What one sees can be heartwarming, such as well-behaved sheep viewed by a shepherd or soldiers following their leader. Okay, what did heart mean to the author, Homer? Is he is my soulmate, question mark? It was his way of saying my name Tanis directly in word, text, and or thought. Does Greece get its Tanis of Greece, me, as Troy got Helen of Troy? Did Homer wait thousands of years to see if Greece chooses him over Achilles? So, ... The squirrels want to plant trees for squirrel forests in Greece if I am supposed to live there. The barred owls and coyotes and river otters and raccoons are like, don't leave us here. Stubbsy says, Dad, Lando, bring me my car, my purple cushion, and carry me around Athens. I can nap on the table as you eat your lamb gyro meat. So, and then final note for this segment of notes. This and the Rumi's heart poetry / creating from the 1200s brought up heartbreak. Heartbreak has been covered in literature for thousands of years on multiple continents. Those claiming heartbreak is a first-time culture thing in this 2000s AD time are tasteless. They have no sense for classics of literature. Some people do not go back and read this stuff, and they just kind of be like, of course I'm the first. And they have no sense for what came before them. So there we go. Or what constitutes a classic of literature. So that's a few heart references in the Iliad by Homer, pages 131 through 190, 2007 Signet Classics edition.